Hi,
Wrong is
guys.
it? Hey, Jonathan.
Hi, welcome to my show. This is the Jedi Archives.
Glad to have you.
Good to hear.
Welcome back.
Having a little technical difficulty, so if anyone notices, just bear with us. We'll get through it. But yeah, today we are going to review
Trail of Shadows.
All
Trial
5
of
issues.
Shadows. The Trail of Shadows. Yeah, it's a mini series that happened during phase 1, right? And they broke up in like 3 each phase. I forgot what they call it, but they're broken up in interior phases. And this is kind of happened during the last section. So the last big book. This is like almost runs parallel.
Yeah, this would have coincided with the Fallen Star.
Yeah, it starts off right at the end of that, or right after the end of that, and it ends right at the end of what was the last book called?
So it begins when Loden Greatstorm is calcified. So
Yeah.
he's been turned to dust. And then right after that, they start this investigation, and they hire the Jedi Order, brings on this is the Jedi with the yellow lightsaber.
Emmerich, right? I think it was Emmerich.
Emmerich. Yeah, Emmerich.
Cian Cyan, however you want to pronounce it.
Yeah, and she's also an investigator, but she's not force sensitive. So she's like a layman, but she's really good at what she does.
Yeah.
And so then they make them work together. The Chancellor Lena So tells them they have to work together to solve this this mystery.
And Emmerich was picked, I think, handpicked from now I'm drawing a blank. He was handpicked from Stellan.
Yeah.
Geos.
Yes, Stellan Geos. And Stellan Geos is really all shook up because he was there and saw Loden Greatstorm.
Yeah.
And he felt the effects of the leveler too, right?
They all did.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
but the one who felt it the most was Loden Greatstorm's Padawan, which was
Elzedafar.
Belzedavar, yes.
Elzar Man felt it too.
Mm-hmm.
Elzar was going a little nuts though. He's like really digging into the dark side. So I kind of brought him back, which is good.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was. I think he went on kind of like a sabbatical.
He did to the beach, right?
Yeah, with Orla.
That's right. So this is the first cover, the first main cover. So we were figuring of just going through all the covers of the 5 issues, just so you can see those. Some pretty good artwork. This is the main cover of Trail of Shadows, and we have our 2 leads here. And I like the gun she's using because it looks a lot like Padme's gun.
Yeah.
He, of course, has a yellow lightsaber.
It's very Star Wars. Like, yeah.
Yes.
There's no like feeling that you look at her and like, oh, she's from Star Wars.
Mm-hmm. And you can tell they're on Coruscant, so
yes,
familiar territory.
Yeah, and that's where she, both of them are based out of Coruscant. Mm-hmm. I think Emmerich was at the temple, and
temple. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and she worked directly on Coruscant in the whatever investigation bureau. I can't remember the name of it.
Yep. And here's another variant.
Wow, that's some different art because
that's really good.
They don't really look like either of them.
So that's definitely not the internal artwork there.
Yeah.
No. But I like this because
I love her gun.
This looks more like Blade Runner, right? Doesn't it?
Yes.
Something different, yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
I like this cover.
Yeah. More of a real life, like if this were like a TV show, these would be, like cover, or a poster or something that advertises like the show.
Her laser almost looks like it's straight from Men in Black, though. On that one, like it looks straight from the Men in Black armory.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And then here's the 3rd and final cover variant.
It's funny because like they don't even meet in the first issue, and all these covers I have them like together.
That's right, they don't. They don't. You're right. But they're both in the first issue.
Yeah,
but they haven't been assigned as partners yet,
which is very cool.
Some nice covers, and then we go on to issue 2. That's when they're partners now. This is the main cover for that. And at first I thought she was shooting through him, but I think it's the blaster bolt going.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is Did we want to talk about the issues afterwards, or we want to talk about as we're looking at these, kind of like what's happening?
This is where they really started their investigation. I
Yeah.
think on Coruscant, right? Like this
Mhm.
is down on the level that we would have seen in Attack of the Clones.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
first,
way down because it's seedy.
yeah, the first thing they got called to was when that alien with the electric axe was ambushed by the Nile, but still beat them all. So they went down to investigate what happened there. Yeah, that's
Yes, yeah, because
that's this episode. So I think that's what they're doing right there. That's a cool shadow. I never even caught that.
Looks like a face, huh?
Yeah.
this cover is phenomenal, and I wish I had it.
Oh, I was gonna say, do you have this one, Bryce?
I
This looks
don't.
really
I
cool.
really wish I did because, we've got
The beacon.
we've got yeah, and I kind of like the way the beacon is tilted, right? Like it's almost like it's falling already.
Yeah. In orbit or
You haven't-
something.
if you haven't read The Falling Star yet, that's not my problem. We're already in phase 2.
Yeah.
But I like it because it's almost like it's kind of falling already.
Yeah.
But yeah, this cover is phenomenal.
And then we have this cover. Different style of art. I like it.
Yeah, definitely different.
Yeah, and if you go back to like the issue 1, like it's almost like they took the same character build from that like almost real life one. As you can see, like Sion still has the same look to her that she did on that other variant on number 1.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's almost like Rebels or Clone Wars art. It's kind of, I'm digging this.
I do. I like this art.
I really, yeah.
And here's a
Looks a lot younger too. His grays aren't nearly as obvious.
yeah, and here's a hand that's been chopped off like
Uh-huh.
that. And we have this cover. Oh, I think it's just like the vert. It's the
Yeah.
same cover,
Yeah.
different color. So it's the other one.
Yeah.
All right,
Well, I think the other
issue
one's
3.
no, they're both the same. Oh no,
Yeah.
sorry, yeah, that's
This is issue 3. And this is when she sings the different, and that's Stellan, right? Sitting
Yeah.
with,
and yeah, it's
he's got a lot more gray.
Yep.
And she's singing in this
She's singing
bar.
the
That's her
lullaby.
cover.
Yeah.
She's singing the Shrey.
Tariq Kalash, Tariq, whatever. Yeah.
Shriek, hooray, hooray, they're coming to take you away.
yes.
Yeah,
But
that nursery
at first,
rhyme.
when I looked at this cover, I thought it was like Jackson sitting in the front, but it's not him, obviously.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like a Greedo, right?
Yeah, it's a Rhodian, but like when I first glanced at it, I was like, "Is that?"
That'd been
I would
cool.
like to see Jackson. I love Jackson.
Yeah, I'm so glad that he was in.
Yeah,
Was it Vader's Castle last year?
yeah,
One
yeah.
that Kevin Scott wrote around.
I have
Halloween
that
time.
issue, that original issue of Star Wars where he first came out.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's in terrible condition because I was a kid when I got it, but you know, it's still fun to look at. And then
Yeah,
here's a variant.
In this issue, they go back to the planet because they're they're following some leads, and that's what they're doing on that lounge room where she works.
Yeah, and then he's got his little droid there. His little, it's called, I think his name is Cutie, right?
Yeah, and I totally forgot about him. Yeah, he's awesome. He's kind of like the
He is awesome. He's like a backpack though,
yeah.
but he looks a little bit like Cal Kestis droid, but bigger. Yeah, BD1. But his name is Cutie.
Yeah, he's almost like designed to help him with espionage and stuff. Like he does readings and shoots out special codes and stuff. So he does a great job. I don't know who the lady is. Is that her?
That's Cyan.
Yeah, that's her because she's got the same chest symbol on her there,
and she's playing that little piano and she's singing. And I like the artwork here. It's very like watercolorish, like Kandinsky.
Yeah, like somebody definitely like painted it. It's almost like somebody took canvas and actually painted all of it.
Beautiful.
That famous Marvel and DC writer, cannot remember his name, but this definitely gives me that style art.
Yeah, well, it reminded me of Vasily Kandinsky.
Are you talking about John Michael Bendis?
No, the Kingdom Come paint designer.
Oh,
I'm gonna have to look it up.
can't remember the name, but yes, I do know what you're talking about.
Super famous.
And this is like that artwork that from like Rebels artwork.
Yeah. Actually, that looks a lot like the art we got in the High Republic Adventures for a couple issues.
Right.
Yes, yeah.
Alex Ross is the guy's name.
Ah, okay. Yeah.
And here is when it shows Emmerich being exposed to the leveler.
Was it the Leveler, or was it this one, the Nameless?
It's
Remember
the same thing.
Well, no, really, they're not. They're two different, even though they have the same effect. One was called a Leveler, the other one was a Nameless.
So what
The
I've come to understand, there's one like alpha, and then there's all the rest.
Yeah.
So Star Wars released cards, and on the cards there was like one, I think it was like a gray one, and then the rest like maybe purple or something. But they look almost exact same, but it's almost like a wolf pack. You had your alpha, and then you had your rest. So I think that's
there was there was some concept art that released, like the Leveler looked a little bit different than what the Nameless looked like.
And this is that guy that was
I cannot remember that guy's name. That guy was
fighting
cool.
everybody. He is pretty cool. I like
and
him.
I'm sure we'll see him again because he's still alive.
And this rat guy, this is the doctor. He's a Shadra fan. That's what he is.
Yeah.
Yes.
Shadra fan. And you know, Tika from Obi-Wan, Leilani Shu plays a Shadra fan too in another episode. So that's one of
really?
the costumes.
That's right.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
I'm like, I like Shadra fans.
Yeah. I like this cover because it almost could see this as a cartoon. Like,
yes, for
very
kids.
Cartoon animated. So which was really cool, is like you could actually see this come to life on the screen and actually be, almost like, what am I trying to think? Like He-Man, maybe? Like, He-Man in the 80s.
Yeah.
Like a very inappropriate cartoon for children. Because it looks very Disney, but not something you should let your kids watch.
Right. Yeah.
And then the last cover is this one. This is really cool. That's a more realistic drawing of him.
Yeah.
He's very, very powerful.
Yeah, he pretty much it's really interesting because they're actually betraying the Nihil. That's what him and the Shadra fan are doing, the whole thing. And he's just mowing through them. Like he's him all by himself taking on Room Zone. He's just chopping them up.
Yep. And then the last issue of Trail of Shadows, of course, we see the destruction in the back.
Oh.
Yep.
I know. Poor little Starlight Beacon. And see, they're holding hands, so there is romance here.
It's totally platonic. They're running away together.
It's not when you're running away together. You just run. It's faster to run like this.
Hold on a second. Rey and Finn do that in The Force Awakens when they're running away from the TIE fighters.
They're not holding hands.
Finn grabs her hand and holds it. Yes, he does.
And then she smacks it away.
She goes, "Why do you keep grabbing my hand?" Or stop grabbing my hand is what she says.
Right, because there's no relationship there. But here, they're definitely having a relationship.
No, it's platonic. They're just friends.
Okay, just friends.
Oh.
Then we have this issue, which is like the cartoon cover. I like this one.
That is a cool one.
And I'm trying to think, who do we've got? Buckets of Blood.
We've got Buckets of Blood.
Sion.
We've got Quart. Is that Quart? No, it's the older one. It's the older Jedi.
That's Quart.
Is it Quart?
Yeah,
I think that's Quart.
After he takes off his mask?
Yeah.
I think that is.
That's right.
Yeah.
After he takes off his mask, and that's
It's not Farzala, if that's who you're thinking, Mike. That's not Farzala.
No, I was thinking because there's another one that's the same species, remember?
Yeah, it's younger, remember? Because we meet that
You're right.
Has his mask on.
Right. I think that is Court. And then we have Emmerich and we have Cyan. And then we have that. Is this the guy that's fighting them in the background? This is the leveler, right?
I think that
No,
is
I
what
think
Jedi
it's
sees
I
when
think
he's
it's the
an hallucination. I don't think that's anything but what's in his mind.
Right, which is caused by the leveler. So when he gets close to it, he starts hallucinating.
Yeah.
Because they're on Starlight Beacon, because I see the beacon here. Starlight Beacon in the
Oh,
eyes.
that's cool. I didn't even see that.
Yeah, so they're on Starlight Beacon. It's already on fire. And then he's like, I've got to get close to it. And then that's when they attack it. Because remember, he slices it. It transforms in his mind. He sees that it's Stellan Geos.
Oh yeah, chop Stellan's head off.
Yeah, but it's not Stellan. It's that creature.
Yeah.
And he slices off his hand, so they have to. She pulls him away, and then she brings that hand that he chopped off, or a claw.
Yeah,
It's pretty cool. It's this cover, and then the final cover is this one. It's pretty badass.
yeah,
Yeah.
very cool.
This is when he's already like so weak, but she picks up his lightsaber and then she uses it to kill the creature. She's not affected because she doesn't have force sensitivity, but that creature definitely affects force sensitives.
I love it. Very Mara Jake. She's even got.
That's what I thought too. That's what I thought too.
The red flowing hair. I was like, it's Mara Jake.
Looks really good. Yeah, I liked it a lot too.
Looks like one of the artwork that you'd find in those card sets.
Mhm.
You know, like the concept art or whatever those.
Especially with
Yeah,
that
they did
white
Marvel.
paper instead of just kind of figuring out what this person's gonna look like. This scene's gonna look like. It's awesome looking.
Yeah, David Lopez, nice work. All right, so those are all the covers, and there's this one. I don't even know what this is. What is this?
Looks like they're it's undiscovered, Mike. Time to go get some points.
I know. I just updated some
Probably
characters
the cover
too.
where they're hugging each other, making out though. Since if you
Oh,
can't
that one, yes. All right. So time for the review. How do you guys want to do this?
we just do the whole story unless you want to go through each issue.
No, this is the whole
Maybe we
story.
can go the whole story.
Yeah, I really enjoyed especially how they first started it. The first issue was like one frame would be him, one frame would be her, and just go back and forth. And it really like sped up almost towards the end. So that was really enjoyable. And
You know what? That reminded me of how the original Star Wars, how it would do the swipes, remember?
yeah,
From one story, then it would swipe to the next. And that's what it felt like. You'd have like one scene and it would swipe to the other scene.
yeah, I know the High Republic Adventures was doing that a little. Was the Adventures? Yeah, when it was when they talk about Zine and the annoying little blonde boy. I can't remember his name. It would go back and forth a lot. But
His name is Rat Camerat.
yeah, that guy. So they were doing that, and I enjoyed it. And then the rest of the issue was cool because issue 3, we get to see the race on
The
Starlight.
crossover. That's right. I'm glad you brought that up. It was
The Bake Off race or something. I can't
Mhm.
remember. Bake Off spectacular race or
So
something.
the Padawans are burning off steam by having this big race, the Bake Off race.
Yeah.
And then in that issue, Ram Jamaram runs through and he sees them. It's like, oh, hello, nice lady, you know, whatever. And he bumps into them. And then in issue 3, we see it from, so that in the Great Bake Off, it's from the Padawan's point of view. And then in this issue, it's from Emmerich's and Cyan's point of view. So we get the little backstory there. That was pretty cool. I like that crossover.
Yeah. Yep.
You tied that together really nice. Yeah. So that was enjoyable. What else? Trying to work my way through it.
I was gonna go to the ending already.
I guess you're
Oh,
good.
it's I gotta bail. Sophia, unfortunately, just hurt herself to where I have to go.
Oh no.
So that's
See you,
why
Bryce.
He was a little distracted. I'm sorry, guys.
Okay.
No worries, no worries.
I'll look forward to seeing this tomorrow when it's sent over. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. I gotta go.
All right.
Bye, Bryce.
I also enjoyed seeing Stellan. It was really good to see Stellan again because
Yes.
in my mind he's gone, which sucks. So it's good to see him. And I was even reading in
Spoiler alert.
that voice, Elzarman, that voice he does in the audiobooks. So I was reading it like that. So it's really cool. And we got to see a little bit of Markion too, Marchion, however it's pronounced.
That's right, Markion.
Yeah, we
Mhm.
got a little bit of him. So I was reading that in his voice, where he's all breathy.
Really soft voice. Yes.
And
And you know what's weird though? It's weird because now that I reread it for this review, it was different from when I read it the first time. Because I had a lot more things. I knew the characters better. So I actually enjoyed it a lot more now. Now that all the books are finished, because I got to see more of the story, because it really connects really well to all of the books.
yeah. I was gonna get to a question, but we can ask that after we review it. But yeah, I'm gonna ask we're touching base on this again. But and then we touch base back with the books again at the end. It was kind of heartbreaking, but they actually all the stories, the other comic books, adventures, and the regular series, they all come back right as the starlight's like burning, and they all do a great job and touching base. And I love that they participated in saving people too, because there's a lot of questions who survives or not, and this helps answer some more. This did give me an answer I didn't want to hear about buckets of blood. That was a little heartbreaking. Know how he
What
runs?
answer?
He runs back in.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Too. Yep. That's right. At the end.
The skivvies. It just goes, I'm going. I'm like,
I know. That was heartbreaking. Yes.
that like I didn't have an answer for. So like, I don't, maybe he survives. They're not going to say specifically that. I'm assuming they live, but no, he ran back in. I'm like, oh, buckets of blood was fun. So that's going to be a rough one, especially when I'm assuming we revisit everyone in phase 3. Let's hope so.
Hope so.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it's interesting. Good. They actually complete their mission, which is good to a degree. I wasn't sure what was going to happen, but he was like, "We got to get off the we got to get off the ship." And Emmerich was like, "No, I have to complete this mission. Else it's all been in vain." So like, they trying to. They get some blood samples. They get a hand sample. So
actually, a lot of blood samples, because that's when Buck takes off his robes, because they're drenched in the blood.
Yeah.
And then that was kind of cool to see him just in his underwear.
Yeah,
running
like
off
a sumo diaper almost. Yeah, he just like took off
like a sumo. Yeah, but you're right. That part was kind of like, oh, he's gonna die.
Yeah, especially like he didn't kind of have to, but I think I don't know why he said he did it. He was just gonna go back in and see if there's anyone else, but they were taking off, so even if he found anyone else, he wasn't gonna save them. But
right.
It was I mean, just that overall story that and it going down, everyone left on it. The Stellan being on it, and Estalamaru being on it, and just like, who else was on it still? It breaks my heart thinking about it. Probably in canon, one of the most tragic things ever to happen. That and Order 66. I mean, there's got to be the two most tragic things.
Right. I agree. But I think this gives you a lot more detail about the tragedy than we get from Order 66. Because Order 66, we just kind of know what happens, but we don't get to see all of the stories. Just little snippets here and there.
And we know of Plo Koon and the other masters, but we never really explore them like we do Stellan, or maybe books on them later. Now that they're doing Jedi Tales, which would be great to give us more story on them. But as of right now, I'm really invested in those guys. Buckets of Blood, I was invested in.
He was a main character, yeah.
Yeah, he was a main character in Adventures.
It's like my gosh, what is it? They all die. Not House of Dragons, but House of Dragons is a prequel for which show?
Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones. It's like the Game of Thrones of Star Wars. Because you don't know who's gonna die in these episodes.
Yeah, a little sad. So my one question I did have is, do you think we're going to revisit these characters? Pretty much our characters from this story are Emmerich, Scion, and the Chatterfan, and then the Chatterfan's accomplished. Those are the main characters that we got from it. I was like,
Mhm.
they all lived. I was like, and we never really get a clear motive for the Chatter fan and his accomplice. They're trying to steal a leveler, or yeah, a nameless.
Right.
They're trying to steal one and sell on the black market. And I guess that's good enough for.
I thought it was connected to that book where the Jedi is having a lot of sex with the representative of the planet, where the scientist is trying to sell. It's like something that's illegal, and she shows it to them, and then remember that one book? It's a scientist and her daughter.
Yeah, they make that was the second big book. I cannot
Mhm.
keep the names in order, but those are one they nullify. We never revisit this either. All energy weapons within a certain
Right.
area.
I thought it was connected to that.
Maybe I don't see a connection because that is after this is after that. That
Oh,
that ends with Load and Great Storm dying. That book.
that's right. That's right.
That's after Valo, and they find out what happened. Whatever it is, they go to the planet. I can't. They talk about it in the book, and that's where they launch their attack. So maybe it is, but it's afterwards.
You're right. You're right.
I wonder if they're gonna revisit that story now that you brought it, because they do have that girl's daughter. The Nihil kidnapped her, and it wasn't even mentioned in the third book or any of the stories after that. So maybe in phase 3,
Right.
because it sounds like a pretty powerful weapon. Not only do you have a weapon to neutralize the force, but now you have a weapon to neutralize lightsabers. I remember they could even turn the lightsabers around on. So yeah, they have a big plan. They Project Luminous is definitely a big plan, and I really appreciate, we talked about this a little bit yesterday, that they're putting the effort into making a big plan. It's not
A
just
cohesive story.
not a
Yes,
seat
I
of their
agree
pants
too.
by a different director every time. And it's we have this giant story that's hundreds of years passing. Let's have it all down, and then we build on that. So I
And you
really
know what? And I appreciate it too, because I just finished the first main book for phase 2, phase 2, which was Path of Deceit. Background here, and even though this is like 150 years prior to the High Republic, the Wave 1
yeah.
or Phase 1, it still shows a lot of connections. So there were some things in Path of Deceit that connect to the comics and the books from
Oh, I'm sure
Phase
it's
1.
gonna have a lot. I'm sure it's probably this is probably gonna be the birth of the Nile. We have a lot of the same.
Yes.
We have Yoda. We're gonna have the Blade of Bardona, which I cannot wait.
Well, this one over here, that's Marta Rowe.
Oh, okay.
So, and another Rowe that we know is Markion Rowe.
Yeah.
So
The rows are the eyes of the stars. Yeah.
right, and this is the mother in the middle, and she's building the Gaze Electric.
Okay. This
Pretty
is.
cool.
I remember when they're talking about phase 1, 2. I kept getting that out of order. Phase 2 is going to be more about the prospecting and exploration of the hyperspace lanes originally.
Yes.
So really, like this is where we're going to
Mhm.
have those families come in. I cannot remember their name, but they're almost like the Hatfields and McCoys of the exploration.
Yes.
So, but yeah, I'm really excited to get into that.
It's the family, the last name, the guy who gets killed on that planet in the first sequel movie.
Tanseka.
The
Tanseka is one of the
Yeah,
families.
Tenseka.
Yeah, there's
Mhm.
2
Yeah,
families.
the
I cannot
Tensekas.
remember, but yeah. So, but I'm really excited to get into it. I haven't even started
Yeah.
phase 2 yet. I got one comic and I bought the one book on audio, but I haven't had a chance to listen to it. But I think that
So
all that's out, right? Is just the one comic and the one book. Oh, I lost you.
there's one book that came out on Tuesday. One
Okay.
just came out this Tuesday, and another one coming out next week.
Okay.
So the young or the one for students, not the adult, the young adult novel.
I enjoy those. They're simpler to read for me.
I enjoy it all. So
Yeah, they're usually like 8 hours on the audiobooks as opposed to like 20 hours the big ones. So I can sometimes do it like in a day or two. So
yeah.
So yeah,
Oh,
Trail of Shadows, I loved it. I loved we got Emmerich, Cyan. Looks like they're going to be a very plutonic, awesome relationship.
I think they're gonna be a little bit more than that because in the High
I-
Republic, the Jedi are having lots of sex. So
I just want them to go forward, and they could have their own spin-off series where they're just solving mysteries. I mean, they did a great job. So I really kind of, it's a teaser of that. Maybe they're testing the water, see how well it does. But give me a spin-off with them.
mhm.
They're not in any books yet, right? They're not.
No.
They're not
Oh,
Night
one
Sun?
one thing that I did like is they give a lot of. Now that I read Trail of Shadows the second time around, I noticed a lot of hints that they dropped in the comic, where they're saying, this is strange. It sounds like this. Because at one point, Emmerich says, we have to be careful what we say because there's a mole or somebody leaked information. When they went to go get that one guy on the
Leanne
planet, but he
Soul,
was
they
already
said,
dead.
there's someone in
Yeah,
Soul,
he's like somebody close to
the Chancellor.
and we know who that was because in the comic they showed that senator, which is Senator Staros,
Oh
which
yeah,
is she's the one that, and we find out in the books that she's
Staros
in
is
love
the other
with
family. Yeah,
Markion Rowe. Yeah.
yeah.
So super
Staros
spoilers
is
there, but
Star Wars is our. They were in a bunch of the books, and they're working. I really enjoyed them. But yeah, that's the other family as opposed to Santecas.
yeah,
Santecas
and
are like
it's
main ones. The Star Wars, the ones that piggyback on their back. Yeah,
right. And the Staros are the ones that lead to the descendants from Staros because she has a daughter, and the daughter gets kidnapped by the Nile,
yeah.
and then the descendants from her, I think, is the one that's the lover to Kaloni. What's her name? Oh shoosh, I love her. She's the one that's like Han Solo, but
Is it Affy Staros or there's one
I
who's a
don't know.
good Staros? I remember now. One of
Yeah,
the
her daughter's a good Staros. Her daughter is, but there's not.
yeah. So they're not all bad, but I do
No,
remember.
no, not all bad. It's kind of like Vader's bad, but his children aren't. So,
So,
so
but
any ratings? Ready for the ratings for Trail of Shadows?
yeah, give me your ratings.
So I'm gonna give Trail of Shadows. I really enjoyed it. Thought it was really good, well connected. So 4.75 holocrons.
It's a good rating. As itself, I probably give it like a 4, but because it's a companion, and if you're into the companions, it really does boost it up. If you were just pick this up and read it, you'd maybe maybe even a 3 because it's like you have to read it with the rest. But because it's complimentary, it really helps it a lot. And to me, it's the same 4.7, something like that. Yeah,
Ooh, nice.
yeah, it's definitely there. I love the
Yeah,
all. I mean, we have a cameo in like almost every episode, every issue. I mean, we got the Eye, we get Stellan, we get the Chancellor, buckets of blood. So it's really cool to get little cameos too. Enjoyed it a lot. And
me
I'm sure
too.
Bryce
Same.
enjoyed it too.
Yeah, Bryce did.
We'll
So
have to just
here you could have
comment what his holocron score is.
So thank you for joining us again for this issue of the Jedi Archives. I'm Mike.
John, we'll have
And
some more stuff for you guys soon. Sometimes we can just always just chat about whatever. But yeah, so that was it for this issue, guys. We'll see you guys soon. May the force be with you.
may the force be with you.